formal mission of U equals me is stated as a movement of conscientious objectors to intolerance, or simply stated, a movement against intolerance. And the exploration of that statement really gets to what are the similarities between people? What do we all have in common? Why are we really equal as humankind? And that's what we're going to explore.
This podcast is about exploring conversational thoughts and interviews with extraordinary people living ordinary lives of well-being. Discussions on exactly what well-being means to people day to day, factors that can influence it both internally and externally. We glean insights on how to survive and thrive in feeling satisfied in life with a greater sense of purpose. Guest hosts bring fresh new outlooks and opinions from spirituality, science, worldviews, and standing up and speaking out for what's right.
It's pretty interesting. Man needs each other and planet Earth to survive. Check it out. I think you'll like what you hear.
Okay, recording in progress.
Yay, hi.
Hi, thank you. Welcome back, Nadia.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is 2023 Predictions with Nadia Angelini. We want to welcome Nadia, and we want to welcome you, our listeners from around the world. We know who you are, we know where you are, and we appreciate your support. I'm your host today, Cindy Jarvis, and you're listening to our U equals me podcast 2023 Predictions with Nadia Angelini. Nadia is an intuitive coach working with clients in the U.S. and abroad since 2005. She was told at the age of 3 that she was gifted as a seer. And I think at age 18, you had a near-death experience.
12.
Age 12. Wow, that catapulted you into this work. Mm-hmm. This is something I just love. Nadia has a master's degree in clinical psychology and uses science and spirituality for a comprehensive approach to living a life of healing and personal peace of well-being. I just love that.
Well, it's personal empowerment, you know?
Personal empowerment. Yeah. You've worked with actress, healer Dee Wallace, and often a guest on her show, Conscious Creation. Nadia has a new radio show in the making. She was currently on Blog Talk and moving to a new platform. You can find that information on her website at intuitionbynadia.com. And you can also sign up for her blog on your website. Correct. I love that. I love getting the newsletters once a month. I look forward to those.
A little energy update for the
energy
month.
update. Yeah. Energy update. Cool. Nadia's highly sought out for her intuitive and no nonsense work of coaching you to be your best self. Needless to say, she has a thriving practice around the globe, already booked into the next year until springtime. Welcome, Nadia. And thanks for taking time out of your crazy busy schedule.
Well, I love doing these. I think they really help people, and I love being with you, and we always have a good time.
We do have a good time.
It's a win-win.
Thank you. Okay, so we're tapping into your intuition as to what 2023 might look like for us moving into this new year. Obviously, it's going to be a new energy.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, I do these energy updates on my own every month. And at the beginning of 2020, I got really strong that we were starting a transformational decade. So we are in year 3 of this sort of transformational decade. And what's really important to understand is we all went through 2020. Okay.
Right.
So we know that was sort of the past 2 years have still been about breaking things down. The clearing out process, what is no longer working, what needs to change. This has sort of been clarifying time, okay? 2023 is about regeneration, is about rebuilding, is about still the continuation of, this needs to end. For example, you're going to see changes in, say, even on the world stage, capitalism. This sort of capitalistic thing that's been around for a long time is starting to break down. On an individual level, there's really a lot of potential for massive change this year. On the global level, it's always going to be slower, but it's still the same energy. What you no longer sort of is serving you, you need to let go to let it be replaced with something new.
I feel like that's really powerful right now.
It is. And this has been building momentum because this isn't a transformational decade. The peak of this transformation is going to be 2025. You're going to see so we're moving into, so that 5 is going to be sort of the peak of change. And then we'll start getting to the other side at the end of the decade, just to mention in the way I'm seeing it. And as a caveat, the way I tell people is I meditate and I ask for the highest information. And any psychic, any clairvoyant, it's all about seeing the trajectory of energy from where we're standing right now. And that's the best way I can explain it. So there's more of this energy of setting a new course in your life. Everyone's going to have course corrections this year. And we started, again, seeing this in 2020, whether it's job change or relationship change or location change. There's more of internal change. Ooh, I need to do this. What do I need to do for myself? This is a self-centered year. This is not about everyone, which it has been since 2020. 2020 has been about the world and everyone else. This is more of a self-centered year. Okay, this is about going, what's my passion? What excites me? What am I really ready for? So I urge people this year to really go inward and get clear on what's right for them.
A personal power year.
Personal power year. I love that. Yes. So the other thing is asking people to really connect with what is my unique expression of the divine? What is my unique contribution? And sometimes that's being a teacher. Sometimes that's being a construction worker. Sometimes I don't know what that is for you, but it's finding something that you feel is your calling this year, because we've been moving away from doing what we have to do and what we should do to doing what we want to do.
I feel that. I feel like we're done with the outside. We've got to go in now.
Correct. We've been very worried about everybody else. There's been so much, divisiveness and anger and rage and pushing against, and that's okay. It all needs to happen. That's part of the healing process,
Yeah.
But definitely. So I know that you had some specific questions for me.
Yeah, I do. I think that, it does feel like we have been at a crossroads. And I think that this is the fork in the road that you're talking about.
Yes.
is actually going inside. But what I really want to ask you, Nadia, is that with everything going on, just like the Russia, the war against a peaceful nation like Ukraine. I mean, how long is that going to be happening? And
that's a really triggering situation for people, because it triggers our inherent sense of unfairness and bullying energy and old male taking power. I'm going to blow you up, BS, right? So I get, and so this is again the challenging of old structures and power. So it's a manifestation on the world stage of Ukraine. Their power is their peace. Their power is not in their fight. And that's the sort of dynamic that is being exposed here. I am seeing it going on slow. They're showing me here less destruction, but slowly still going on. I do feel like at the end of this year, there will be some resolve, but there's still so much fear, so much suffering, greed, empowerment, disempowerment, energy that's still really strong. And when you feel that energy strong, and this is hard to explain to people, but when you're feeling disempowered, you can't manifest feeling powerful. So my advice to people is empower the Ukraine. Just tell in your mind, they're so powerful. They are right. They are going to get through this. Start putting energy where you want it to go to empower them, because that's what they need.
Right. And that's what we're witness to, their strength.
Yes.
And I feel like, Nadia, that that's what we're being shown is their strength. I mean, they're showing us their strength.
They're
so we know
powerful. Yes.
Incredibly. So that's where we need to focus on their strength
that's exactly right.
and not the destruction.
And continuing not to see them as victims.
Right.
They are not victims.
They are not victims.
This is so hard for people to hear. It's even hard for me to say, but this is creating, just like Black Lives Matter, it's creating a wave of change that needs to happen, an awareness to the world of this is not okay. And
right.
they're being of service to the world.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
My son's best friend is from Ukraine. They literally came here from the Ukraine. So I love his family. They talk to me about this all the time. And they are not victims.
Right. No, they're very prideful people.
They're very powerful, lovely. I mean, I can only speak for my son's best friend and their family, but it's not seeing them as weak, seeing them as they got this and we have their back and the whole world is behind them.
That it's a beautiful thing to witness. It really is. Not the destruction, but to witness the entire world coming together to support this peaceful nation. I love that.
Yeah, and that's the wave of change that they're creating that is going to impact the years to come in a positive way. And that's, I think, what we want to hold on to right now.
Right, and
it's horrible.
It is horrible, but what it's also, I also feel like, Nadia, that everything is becoming more and more transparent. Like Russia, this could be the fall of Russia. It could be the people in China and Iran. It could be like people coming together in consciousness for peace, for independence.
There's more of the power to the people energy coming in towards this year. It's like feeling of knowing your true power as an individual. And this is what we're moving towards. When you watch these young ones coming in, they are knowing this. The old ones that are sort of miserable and grumpy and never dealt with their trauma, they're dying. And I hate to say that, but it's just generationally.
Right.
You know, that have gone through depression, that have gone through wars, that have gone through abuse and, you know, that never had any tools. They're leaving the planet and the new ones coming in are like, I know who I am and you can't change me. And and so we're in an amazing time right now.
We really are. And I feel like the personal power, you know, we've talked about that for, you know, most of our entire growing up. Yes. But that personal power is that's really indicative to the way that we think.
It's indicative of the way we treat people, because if I know who I am and I'm in my power, I don't need you to change.
Right.
For me to be okay.
And I don't need to believe in what you believe in. Therefore, I'm not going to wear my, you know, Habib.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that's our biggest issue is I joke with people all the time because I'm a Gen X person, right? So we're the opposite of, say, millennials who are like offended and hurt by every small thing that happens, right? So we're the opposite. We're like, do what you want to do.
Do you? Yeah.
You know, if you want to be a Bible Belt person, be a Bible Belt person. Just leave me out of it. You know,
right?
If you want to be LGBTQ, live your best life. Do what you want to do. Be free. Be yourself. So we're more that thing of like, everyone do what they want to do. It comes in my energy of like, people should be allowed to be who they want to be, but they're not allowed to tell someone else to change. They're just not. You're not allowed to do that.
We're not
control that.
Right. Yeah. We're not going to stand for that. I love it. Okay, so I do have to ask you, I have to go to the political just for a moment, but I do have to ask you if you think that Trump will be held accountable for his alleged crimes. I mean, are people going to be exposed for dark money? Is any exposure here?
You know, what I'm seeing here is continuing of the truth coming out over these next years. I am seeing a slow burn. All the truth is going to come out. I just see it really like molasses slow. It's not going to be like satisfying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be really slow. But the way they're showing it to me is like a boomerang. Everything that you put out comes back to you.
That's so funny. Yes. I just did a podcast on boomerang.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, that's really funny. It comes back. It goes out. It gathers momentum and it delivers it right back to you.
So I wouldn't even, I don't feel like he's going to, like Trump is going to go to jail. I just feel like this is the way they show it to me. A slow decline. I don't see him in power again. at all. Like,
Good.
my husband's like, oh, Trump's going to run again. I was like, yeah, I'm not worried about it. Like, I just, it's let him do what he wants. Like, and you're seeing more energy on DeSantis and Florida. Like, he's really sort of trying to gather, but I have to say this because it's kind of important. When I tune into this energy, the energy of the people that are more in alignment with more peace, more love, more acceptance, more sort of compassionate is so much more dominant than it's ever been.
Oh, great.
Even though like there was all this talk of like the silent majority.
Right.
There was a lot of talk of that in the election, and that's fine. I think there are absolutely tons of people that believe in Trump and believe in what he's doing. And again, none of my business.
Right.
But I just don't see that as a majority. I just see it that pool is getting smaller, not
good.
larger. And that's the way they're showing it to me. I feel like there's going to be a slow political downfall for both Putin and Trump. But again, you're not going to really see evidence of this. I feel like till the end of the year, there's going to be a little bit of evidence, but don't worry about it. There's massive shifts in capitalism going on. Old systems are coming out and new systems are being built. And we're going to be in process of that over the next decade.
Akin to your transformational year.
That's what I'm saying. It's exactly right. But the way it doesn't work the way it's been working.
Right.
But there's not a new way yet. So we're in that transition.
That's really interesting. I'd like to ask you, Nadia, about COVID and this triple pandemic. This is as horrible as these last couple of years have been. We thought the first year of COVID was, we'd have some relief. And then we thought the second year there'd be relief. And then this year is the triple pandemic. But I do feel as stressful as it's been, it has helped us come together in some weird way.
It's made people, first of all, it's been clarifying. It's given clarity to people of wow, I really am clear about who is important to me and who I want to give my energy and time to and who I don't.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
And how do I treat my body? Am I really healthy? Am I, health has gone through the roof since COVID. I will say this, just like anything, when I tuned into that energy, because you asked me, I'm just, full disclosure, you sent me these questions. So
Absolutely.
I was like, this was literally what came over me. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Like that was the feeling. I was like, nah, I'm not worried about it. But I got to tell you, I had the same feeling when COVID started. Because I personally, it can only, if you're afraid of it, you will draw it to you.
That reminds me, when we did our predictions last year, we were talking a little bit about this, and you mentioned to me, which was such a clear picture in my mind, that when you look at the wildfires, and I want to talk about, climate intensity in a moment, but when you look at these wildfires and everything is charred, but yet there's this one house standing that wasn't even affected.
Yep.
That's an interesting phenomenon.
Well, this is what's hard for people to swallow, which is we live in a attraction-based universe. So I got to tell you, and this is not, to sound, arrogant, but we thrived during the pandemic. My kids thrived. I thrived. We, we all got COVID. I lost smell and taste for one day. Nothing, no big deal. My kids got a fever one day. They were fine. So it can affect you because it was everywhere. So obviously it was going to affect me. I couldn't block it out, but I also could go, yeah, I'm not worried about it. So my energy was going, I didn't get affected by that in a really negative way because I didn't let it take over my fear. Now, if you have cancer, if you have immune deficiency, if you have I understand that that's going to be really hard not to get that fear. Now, you know me, I'm pro-vaccination. I was like, give me that vaccine. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
If you're vaccinated. I was pumped. I was so excited about it. So, I was feeling good through the process. And that's what I just ask people to do. I don't watch the news. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't watch it. It puts me in the toilet. It's all fear-based to hook people in.
It is. I mean, I think journalism is really important, but also it's a business. Media is a business. Yeah.
So, he was in the data scientist thing, and there's a lot of good people there that mean well. It's
Yeah.
not that they're mean or bad people. It's just the way the world functions right now.
It is the way the world functions.
You
Yeah.
know, is fear. So I invite everybody to not give it energy, to work on your own health and well-being, because there's going to be variants and but it doesn't need not affect you. Like, I just am not seeing it in the same way that COVID hit us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just showing here, no worries, but like, work on your fear around it. You know, what does it make you know you want? I always say, when you feel a fear or a discomfort, I want to be healthy, I want to thrive. Great. Give energy there.
That is really so important. So this now we're just moving through this respiratory. Are we clear? Are we getting healthy? Do we have more issues? More viruses? Is it?
I think there's always going to be viruses. I'm not worried about it on the level that it was. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned respiratory, because I do feel like when we talked about it, I think last year we talked about this, the lungs, it's like breathing in life, taking life in is the manifestation. So, you know, I never had any issues with my love. So it's people that are you really living? Are you really taking life in? Is the message from COVID.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. I love that. That I just have to ponder that because that's exactly what's going on around us.
And you notice that the older ones were having more issues and the younger ones were not.
Yeah.
So it's just a shift in your energy and vibration. I mean, people say age is age, but you know, we can go on that. Like, you do not need to decline at the rate we're declining.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So let's talk about climate intensity.
Sure.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm in California, so we feel it. We had a 78-degree day the other day.
Oh, you did? Really?
Yeah, 2 days
wow.
ago.
We just came through an ice storm.
Right. So
in Seattle.
This is a really tough one, because I'm obviously 100%, pro saving the planet, pro animal, pro keeping the trees, all of that. And what I want to give people, because I really sat with this, because it's an activating subject for me personally, because, I'm sort of the generation that started the climate change,
yes.
Hey, people, wake up. There's an issue,
Yeah. Yeah.
Spraying their hair in the 80s, with the aerosol.
Yeah, hairspray.
Yeah, exactly. So when I tune into it, and I actually love listening to Abraham Hicks, and if I can find it, I will send it for your listeners so you can add.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's a great one when she talks about climate change. And this is what she said, and I'm going to repeat it because this was the energy I got, and I'd forgotten that I heard this. So she said, it's funny that you think that you can keep the world from thriving. This earth is going to thrive whether you're here or not. The planet is thriving. She's adapting. She's changing.
Yep.
But she will thrive. And you notice that during the pandemic, how she instantly, I call her she because it's Mother Earth, she instantly was like, we got this. Plants started to grow. Animals started to come back. It was like, so she's capable. So our job is to get out of the way and let her. And I just ask you all, we're not, the sun isn't going to, there's so many theories that are like, no, that's not going to happen. I don't see, honestly, in our lifetime, this is not going to affect us. I do see massive solutions to this. But they're showing me like 2030, by 2050, this is like going to be a non-issue. Because the young ones are coming in with solutions to this because we've been asking. So you're going to see solutions to getting food, to growing meat. So you don't have to kill a cow. You can make genetically engineered meat that is the same, that's better for you than the real meat. Like, there are solutions that are so crazy. So I always tell people, bring in the solutions. I want the earth to thrive. Notice how she's thriving. Notice, I look every day of how beautiful she is. So that's what I ask people to give me, because she's going to thrive.
That's interesting to me, Nadia, because I have been thinking about and reading lately about native cultures. And it's interesting to me because they have an appreciation for the earth.
And every animal. They use every
animal. Yeah. And every animal, but they don't deplete it.
No.
They don't deplete it like we have been, but they appreciate it so they appreciate what they have so that it can continue. So Mother Earth can continue to serve them.
That's right. And so the way you feed her is through your thought, through your words.
Yes.
And through your actions. So, we were pescatarian for 2 years. If you eat vegetarian 1 day a week, you're helping. One day a week.
Yeah.
Eat vegetarian. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's what can I do? And ask yourself, again, as an individual, what am I called to? And what are the small things I can do to appreciate her and fuel her well-being? And that's what I would advise people, because she's going to thrive. But, but you can help.
One thing I love about Abraham Hicks is that she's constantly reminding us of gratitude, the attitude of gratitude, and the power behind that. And, the secret little love that goes into everything that you do, goes into the earth, goes into the oceans, goes into the air.
It's a vibration. So
every
thought or feeling puts out, I don't know if you've seen this, but I went to a school in Santa Monica called Crossroads. And on the top, they had this metal structure. And it was the vibrational frequency of the note B. Of a B.
Oh, wow.
A B. So it was like when you sing the note B, that's what it looked like, right?
Oh, I love that.
And it's the same of every thought. It has an energy. It goes out into the world. That's why when you walk into the room, you can take the temperature. You go, ooh, something wrong in here. Or everyone's happy. I'm in the mood. You get affected by the fields of people, and the earth is the same way. Watch a plant in your house. They've done studies. If you talk to that plant, it will thrive. If you love that plant, it will thrive. If you shame that plant, if you ignore it, they did literally speaking mean things to a plant, it started to die. I mean, it's incredible.
It is incredible.
Science.
Yeah, it's a science. Yeah, that's the science. It's not woo-woo.
Yeah, it's not woo-woo. It's the law of cause and effect.
Yeah.
So it's really understanding that.
Yeah, begins with our thoughts. That's really very cool.
And then your words, and then your deed. Thought, word, deed. That's how.
Thought, word, deed. Yeah. That's thought, word, deed. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was in Conversations with God from
1990. Neil Donald Walsh.
Yes,
I
Neil
love
Donald
that.
Walsh. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so how can we stay out of the fray without feeling like we're burying our heads in the sand? I think you already kind of touched on this, but
my husband says this to me all the time. He's like, "Oh,
mine too."
Yeah, you're burying your head in the sand, and everyone's different. My mom loves watching the news. It doesn't put her in the toilet. It's her. That's fine. She's a different person than me. I tend to run really hot and highly sensitive, so I don't need to know. And the things I need to know will find me, on Instagram, on Facebook. And I, personally don't feel like it's putting your head in the sand if you're happy. If you're happy, you're contributing to the world. So do what's going to make you happy, and only you can decide what that is. I really can't tell people. For me personally, I wouldn't watch the news. I wouldn't watch horror movies. I wouldn't watch things that make you feel negative emotion, because that's just adding to something you don't want.
Adding to the negative.
People love their murder mysteries. People love watching the documentary. And if you're joyful and having fun doing that, do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't either. But I don't want to, I hear this all the time. I hear people say, well, I want to feel like I'm informed, but yet I don't want to get into the emotions of the fear itself.
Well, and I think so here's where I would go a little deeper. What's the intention? Why do I want to be informed? What does that give me? What is being informed? What am I getting from being informed? I don't get anything from, what am I going to do about the horrible things happening in Ukraine? I'm more, I'm more effective by talking to my Ukrainian friends and sharing in their power and having joy with them. That's more effective than me being informed. Does that make sense? For me,
it does. Yeah.
So I just feel like, what am I getting out of being informed? So some people feel they need that information because, and I say this with so much love, they don't have a lot of stuff going on in their own life. You need to get back to your own life. Don't worry about this is why reality shows are a problem. We're worried about everyone else's life and not, this is a self-centered year. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So that's what my invitation would be. And I don't mean that as like an attack. I just think we like to worry about other people because it gets us off ourselves.
Well, I do think that's absolutely true. I do think that's true. But also I think that by not paying attention to the news and not being informed, that how can you help if you don't know what's going on? That's what I hear.
I hear that, but what are you really doing to help?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are you writing, are you picketing? Are you writing letters to people? You know, like I'm going to be in a march if it's for women, you know, I will do that, but I'll hear about that on Facebook, or my friend will go and call me and say, will you come? And I said, yes, I will come. You know, I will get those calls when it's something to call to something. For example, in the Black Lives Matter movement, obviously I heard about that. But at the same time, if you watch the news, maybe one thing on there, are you actually going to move on and do anything? And you're being onslaughted with negative crap. Here's a shooting here, and then this is horrible. So, you know, if I focus on fear of my kids getting shot in their school, how am I helping?
Right.
If I make my kids are getting drills. If there's a shot, there's police at my kid's school. A parent can't walk into the school without an ID. So, you know, it's around me. I'm not missing it.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to give energy to my kids thriving and being safe. So if I give energy to the shootings, I'm taking away from my kids' safety, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And it's really what I wanted to whittle it down to, is that anger does not help.
Fear does not help.
Yeah.
Every time, I'm going to repeat this so many times, every time you feel a negative emotion, it's because something is really important to you. And that's it. And so you go, what's important to me here? It's so important that my kids are safe. It's so important to me that they thrive. I know that they are the creators of their experience. I know how powerful they are. I know that they want to be here. So now let me feed that energy instead of the fear and all the evidence, because I can always find evidence to be afraid.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying the news is. The news is validating fear.
Yeah.
And so I don't find that helpful for me. I think reading is a little better than watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can sort of, you know, it's not as emotional when you're seeing another person talk. So if you have to pick a reputable source and read it.
Yeah.
Watch it.
I think that's really looking for evidence, you know, to justify the fear. That's so true. It's interesting this morning because I always read my book, A Course in Miracles.
Love it.
And I'm on my 6th time around.
Great.
Because it's hard.
It works every time.
It works every time. And each time you just get a little more information. Totally. And so this morning I was reading it, knowing that I have a call with you today. And this is the message that jumped out of the page. And it says, love's messages are gently sent and returned with messages of love and gentleness. Mm-hmm. The messages of fear are sent to harshly seek guilt and cherish every scope of evil and sin. And what fear would feed upon, love overlooks. What fear demands, love cannot see.
That's right.
What love would look upon is meaningless to fear and invisible. So it's exactly what you're saying.
I mean, it's been said in every document. Jesus said it. Okay.
Right.
It's, you know, conversations with God. What would love do now? That is the question that you always have to ask. What would love do now?
Yes, and I do feel like fear seeks the drama to feed the hunger of hatred. And
fear is very destructive. It is a destroyer. It is not an uplifter. It is a destroyer.
Right. And fear is behind the hatred that we're experiencing around the world.
Yes,
and so this is what, you know, this is what we have to look at. We have to go inside and find out where
and both sides
where we're not loving.
No one's immune to this fear, because what happens is, you know, full disclosure, I live in California. I'm super liberal and I'm very accepting of whomever, whatever you want to believe is okay with me. I'm not here to convince you to believe me. It's not my job, nor do I want that responsibility.
Yeah.
But what's really important is I'm going to give you this story because I think it's important.
Okay.
During this sort of conflict, I had one of my son's friends ran through our screen door, ripped it clean off. Okay. So, boys will be boys. And, they were just didn't see it and they went right through it. So I was getting a new screen in and the guy came and I had never used him before, but he was, in our neighborhood, had worked with everybody. And he came in and I could feel his energy was, and I was home by myself. My husband wasn't here. My kids were at school. And he had a very intense, angry energy. And as a woman, it's unsettling to be around a male with that energy. And I sat there and I did what I tell people to do. And I sat and I said, this person's having a human experience. There's a little boy in there. And I'm just going to open my heart to this person. And we start talking. And he says, now he made an assumption about me, which was wrong. Okay. So he starts talking and I go, hey, how are you? It seems like there's something going on. He goes, well, I'm just pissed about this and the stupid liberals and they're so just did it. And he starts going off about liberals and how horrible they are and what and I just let him talk and I'm listening and he goes, I'm so angry. I can't even play golf. I'm just angry. I'm angry. And I go, wow, I see this is really affecting you in a negative way. And I said, and I'm not here to argue with you, but I'm one of those stupid liberals. And I kind of made light of it. And he goes, well, I didn't mean, and I go, you don't have to backpedal. I'm not here to change you. You are who you are, but I am who I am. And that's okay.
So it disarmed him.
It disarmed him. And I also said, I'm like, anger is like drinking poison, expecting someone else to die. Because I don't need you to change and you shouldn't need me to change,
Yeah.
So we had this conversation, but I could feel my instinct was to put a wall up, was to guard against, even though I do this all the time. So I ask people, I go, where can you open your heart? This man has a human experience. He was served in the military. He's had his own experience and I have to respect that.
Right.
But then when I respect him, I'm inviting him to respect me.
That's beautiful. And it works that way.
Having a conversation. And that was it. And it really is what every person needs to do. Is go, I get you, pro-life.
Open our hearts.
I understand why you feel that way. And I believe in the freedom of my own body and someone's choice. So, and that's okay too. You're allowed to feel that way. So these are hot button issues. But once we start leading with compassion and empathy, that's what's going to mend this sort of blockage.
And I feel like, I have witnessed this, and I don't know if I'll be able to put it into words, Nadia, but I do feel like that when somebody is serving to somebody else, that this is the boomerang. It comes back to you.
Well, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Because I love people. My son said something to me the other day. He's 7, my oldest. And he said, Mommy, I realized something. Most people are good. I'm like, that's right, buddy. Most people are good. And that's
because that's what they hear in their home.
But that's what they see in the world because that's what he's putting out. So he's
that's
putting
just
out
beautiful.
That energy, so he's getting that back.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Are there jerks in the world? Of course.
Yeah.
But we've all been that jerk at some point.
That's true. That's so true.
The guy that cuts somebody off. Or
we all have that bad side.
Customer service person. We've all been that person.
That's true. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. As Jesus said.
Yeah.
Throw the first stone. Those who have not sinned, throw the first stone. I mean, we're humans having a human experience. And we're all going to fall and we're all going to mess up.
And releasing judgment is going to be the quickest way to elevate ourselves into a little more happiness, I feel.
But if we don't have that relationship with ourselves, we can't have it with others.
Right.
Because we hate and try to control because we're not okay inside.
Right.
And that's what people need to understand.
That's it.
If people hate the LGBTQ community. Why? I mean, to me, it makes no sense, but it's because they're afraid of their own sexuality, of their own power, of their own religion, everything. I've been doing every rule and I have a miserable life and you need to be miserable too. It's a sort
interesting
of misery thing of like, I've been following the rules of of this
doctrines.
Yes. And you have to, or you're, it's insanity. It's insanity.
Definition of insanity.
It is. It really is.
Wow. That's so powerful.
But it's important.
I love it.
I know you wanted to talk about economy, which I think a lot of people are going to care about. So do you want me to go into that now?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. So there is going to be a regression a little bit of this sort of, there's going to be some fear, there's going to be panic, but it's temporary. I just want to remind you, temporary. It's going to come right back up. I just need to remind you because like I said, there's this sort of, even by the end of this year, there's going to be like a down and an up energy that they're showing me. There's going to be this moment of panic. So I'm preparing you all for the panic mode. Don't go there. Don't get sucked in.
Okay.
Right back up. Like we've already seen it a little with the, the crypto and all that stuff. It all went, people lost a lot of money and that's where the panic started.
Okay.
Money is very triggering because it's survival. It's freedom.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it is freedom.
Tied to survival and freedom. It's super triggering. So what I want you to really focus on is I'm ready for that swing up. I'm ready. It's all working out. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. So I just don't want people to stress too much about it, but I'm giving you the heads up.
Excellent. Excellent. And by having, by having an idea of what may or may not happen actually helps us when we get into the moment.
Well, you can get ahead of it.
You can get ahead of it.
Yes, because
you can get ahead of it.
Technology is having a breakdown right now. There's going through this whole technology world. It feels to me is sort of, again, it's been like technology, and
up.
It's going to have a drop. So there's going to be job issues. Interest rates are going to be trash. I mean, there's going to be stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Some stuff that's going to be dysregulating. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
If there's anything I want to give everybody is that in order to really hold on to your power, and there was a study done about what the trait of the most successful people in the world were, and this is going to be insane, is being able to self-regulate.
Self-regulate.
Yes. So under high stress, so Elon Musk might be out of his mind, but he can under high stress regulate and do what he needs to do.
Okay, that's really
self-regulation.
Self-regulation. That's the word for the year.
It is. Because we're regenerating the way it's almost like we're breaking down the old way and we need to rebuild a new path. And that's the process we're in this year. There's going to still be things falling away that needs to fall away in our lives. This might be habits. This might be.
And it's okay.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of us have changed in the past few years. I mean, I change every year, but.
But the last 3 years, it's been a tremendous amount of change. And I think we can relax and knowing that we can self-regulate through the changes.
Well, and also the most important thing for me is whenever we're in times where things are tense or in contrast. So for example, with the pandemic, what did that give you clarity about the pandemic?
Yeah.
It gave me clarity of wanting to be with family and people and how important it is to be around people and how much I appreciate being around people and going to concerts and all these things that I took for granted were all of a sudden, lit up for me as important. Right.
Yeah.
So every time there's a moment of contrast, we lived in Amsterdam for 2 years. And when I tell you that literally we moved back here in 2019, every day that I live in California, every single day, I am in more gratitude for the sun after being in gray for 2 years. I'm like, I love you, California. You're so beautiful. I love you so every day because I experience the contrast. So my gratitude and my love for California expanded. So look for where the expansion is. For desire for money and freedom, desire for health, desire for the well-being, desire for fairness, whatever it may be.
Wow. That's fabulous. I can't wait to listen to this again. It's just so many nuggets in here.
Well,
It's just
I
amazing.
try to give you tools. That's my big thing, is giving people stuff to do, to think about, to actively do, because it's really hard in a healing journey because it's not linear. And how do I soothe myself? You need tools. You need to know what to do.
Yes.
I'm teaching my little boys who are not born knowing how to do it.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
Our brains will sort of tap out at a certain moment, but teaching my 5-year-old how do you deal with a tantrum is by me mirroring to him how to self-regulate. That's how you teach, through your example.
Right. By not becoming upset or angry
and by mirroring. So I tell everybody, with
Peace.
any relationship, when in doubt, go seek connection, validate, and mirror. You're really mad right now. I get that. I get mad too. I understand. You're really mad right now. This is really important to you. You really want a cookie before dinner.
And I think,
whatever it is.
Yeah. And I think in the end, that's all. We all just want to be seen. We all just want to be validated,
You weren't,
even if we're wrong.
As kids, we didn't. This starts with kids, guys. It starts with children, and every single adult that's going to listen to this, I'm going to say this, and they're going to go, oh, because what were you taught as a child? So when you went home, and let's say my son comes home and he says to me, no one would sit with me at lunch, and this one kid said something mean to me. What's your first response?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes. And you want to fix it. And you want to, you'll find friends, and don't worry. And who is that kid? And what, and you get mad, and you want to sort of, instead of sitting on the bench with them, wow, that must have been really uncomfortable. Tell me more. Where were you? Where were you sitting? What was your body feeling like? I'm going to make you not feel alone in that feeling.
Because his feelings are important.
They're important. They're information. They're information from his little body telling him, but I don't want him to feel alone in that. And all of us adults right now, we were alone in our feelings. We were forced.
That's right.
And these young ones don't have to be that way. I can sit with my son and then watch. So they call it sitting on the bench with somebody. And my son will get off that bench on his own. He just, I can't protect you from bullies. I can't protect you. But what I can do is go, because he says to me, I go, well, buddy, why do you think he said that mean thing? He goes, he was probably feeling really bad. I go, yeah. What do people do when they feel bad? He goes, they want to make other people feel bad. He gets it. He's 7.
He does get it.
But I'm sitting with him. And so now if a kid says something mean, he's like, well, my kid's feeling bad. He doesn't take it on.
Right.
Doesn't take it on.
He doesn't absorb it.
That's right. But we didn't get that.
Right.
So that's why we have a lot of effed up. Mental health is my big thing, Cindy. I mean,
I love it too, because when our son was born, I wanted to improve my mental health so that I could be a better parent. Exactly. So I know what you're saying is absolutely true.
It's everywhere. I mean, if we
it's
dealt
everywhere.
with mental health at a young age, teaching boys it's okay to cry, and that you're sensitive and intuitive, and that women are strong and powerful and can do, we need to start embodying both sexes. This is why you have these young ones coming in with non-binary, and because they're going, it doesn't matter. We're both.
It doesn't matter.
We're all both,
Yeah. I love that. What a great message.
They're coming in.
Wow.
The kids are.
Yeah.
And it's great because my little boys need to know how to be sensitive and kind and compassionate, which are quote unquote female qualities. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's all changing, right?
That's my
with
point.
Our new generation.
That's the new energy is feminine.
Yeah.
Energy is the more powerful energy. We are moving into the female energy. Watch the
rise of the phoenix.
It's the rise of the phoenix around the women. But women need to know their power. We need to know that we've allowed ourselves to feel small. Do you see what I mean?
Love it.
So this is the rising of the power of women. But you got to be boys that have good moms understand the power of women.
Yeah. Well, Nadia, this is so awesome. This has just been a great time with you. I thank you so much. Is there any lasting thoughts you want to leave us with?
I just want, everybody to really get clear in the beginning of this year. I would set intentions. How do I want to feel this year? What do I want to accomplish this year? I don't like goals, but I want to feel fulfilled. I want to do something I love this year. I want to feel in my power. I always set intentions that are really general, so you can let the universe sort of fill in the details for you.
Right.
Because when we say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, it's like resistance. You can feel, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to let go of weight this year. That has a lot less resistance. I'm going to feel stronger in my body this year.
Set the intention and let the universe help you achieve it.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hate to let you go, but wow, we've already been on we got a lot done today, I think.
There was a lot in there. So hopefully, people got something from it.
Oh, I'm sure. I like I said, I can't wait to listen myself. I just want to mention that you can find Nadia at intuitionbynadia.com. And you can also book an appointment with her at Nadia at intuitionbynadia.com.
Yeah,
and as
sessions, 30 minutes to 1 hour. Yeah.
And I've had some of her private lessons, guys. It's like I said, it's no nonsense. I love it. As aforementioned, she's available for bookings globally. So everything's virtual, anywhere in the world.
Very busy through January, but I'll be taking new clients starting in February.
Oh, great. Fantastic. And go to her website, sign up for her blog. And thank you, Nadia, for bringing in love and light. And thank you to our listeners for being the grounding cord for this joyous, loving light in your own lives, because like Nadia says, it does make a difference in the world. I love it. Okay. Well, Nadia's contacts will be in the show notes. You can reach me, Cindy, at u=me.org. And our logo wear is available at u=me.com and can also be found at the U=me Etsy store, all one word in your Google search, for some of our merchandise, our fun U=me merchandise. And we invite you to join our One Worlders group on our website for a complimentary copy of our ebook, Wisdom Along the Way. Cheers to a new year.
Happy New Year.
Good vibrations. Thank you, Nadia. Bye for now.